Genesis halts withdrawals. Will it be worse than FTX? Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because we have, more news in the crypto sector. On my international channel, we've been covering exchange after exchange, or lending platform after lending platform that has been halting all of their withdrawals. Or I'm sure just pausing it temporarily until they file Chapter 11, which seems to be the trend. Yesterday on this channel, we looked at a Brisbane crypto exchange that some of you sadly have lost money on, or its withdrawals have been stopped. There you go, guys. This is happening everywhere. And now the news is coming out that Genesis has halted withdrawals as well. Now, before we have a look at this article and some interesting insight from a creator on Twitter, let's jump over and have a look at the current crypto prices. We can see here Bitcoin is at $16,686, and it's pretty much just moving sideways in that range. Ethereum is at $12.15, XRP is at 37 cents, Cardano is at 33 cents, Dogecoin is at 8.5, and Tether is still not at $1. Tether's the one, if that implodes, well, how much liquidity is that going to dry up? Look at the volume, okay, in the last 24 hours. How much is Tether being used? So let's have a look. Before we go through this article, I want to have a look at Jason Yanowitz's take from Twitter, because he does a pretty good breakdown of what's going on here with Genesis. So, and you can find him on Twitter on Yano. If this is really the end for Genesis, this could be more impactful than FTX. FTX hurt liquid funds and consumers. Genesis impacts nearly every company in crypto. Now, for a whole decentralized platform, money free from the Fed, be your own bank, all of the rhetoric, it's all such. It's so interweaved, and there's so much dependency on each other. It's nuts. For those who aren't familiar, Genesis started as the first over-the-counter Bitcoin desk in 2013. They're now crypto's largest lending desk. Genesis is part of DGC, Barry Silbert's holding company that owns CoinDesk, Foundry, Genesis Grayscale, and Luno. DCG also runs a huge venture capital firm. At the height of the market, Genesis was moving size. Check out these Q4 2021 numbers. 50 billion in loan originations, 12.5 billion active loans, 31.8 billion spot volume traded, 21 billion derivatives traded. I mean, look at this. So is this another example of lockdown increases in their capacity, guys? Then Three Arrow Capitals happened. Genesis was the biggest creditor to 3AC, having lent them a whopping 2.4 billion. Genesis then filed a 1.2 billion claim against 3AC. DCG parent company stepped in and assumed the $1.2 billion claim, leaving Genesis with no outstanding liabilities tied to Three Arrows Capital. So Genesis lent $2.4 billion to hedge fund Three Arrows Capital. But then things continue to unravel. Genesis also had large exposure to Babel Finance, the C5 platform that got hit hard in the June unwind. In August, long-term CEO Michael Morrow resigned. Nearly everyone I know who was working at Genesis is no longer there. By Q3 2022, their numbers had fallen drastically. 8.4 billion in loans, 2.8 billion in active loans, 18.7 spot volume, and 9.6 derivatives traded. Still, everyone felt like they were crypto's safest counterparty. And I think I just saw a short today, flipping through the YouTubes, where someone's talking about the FTX collapse. I think they're like a crypto person or a celebrity or someone. Of course, I wouldn't know who they are, but they were saying, I wasn't exposed to FTX. Luckily, I had all my money in Genesis. That was obviously before this has happened. So, 6. So why is the downfall of Genesis so bad? Dozens of companies like Gemini use Genesis to help their consumers earn yield. If you're a C5 platform that offers yield, you probably use Genesis. using some rough numbers and simplifying the process a bit, here's how it works. Earn interest on crypto with Gemini Earn. There you go. I mean, people are doing this. You give your crypto to Gemini. Gemini gives your crypto to Genesis. Genesis lends your crypto to a fund. The fund borrows from Genesis at X plus 2%. Genesis gives Gemini X plus 1%. Gemini gives you X percent. Voila, you earn your yield. So why are the funds borrowing the crypto? Are they using it to facilitate leverage tradings? Are they using it to get exposure to the crypto market without actually having to buy it? I mean, it all seems like a bit of smoke and mirrors. I can't imagine there'd be any consumer borrowing of crypto to buy real things. So 8. But that only works if the counterparties that Genesis lent to can actually repay their borrow. If Genesis can't get their crypto back, they can't give the crypto back to Gemini or insert any other crypto CeFi platform, which means Gemini can't give you your crypto. If you don't have the keys, it's not your crypto, guys. Beyond that, nearly every whale I know that plays in crypto gives money to Genesis. Instead of earning yield on the BlockFis and Geminis of the world, they give directly to Genesis to earn yield. Now, those institutions, family offices, and whales can't get their crypto back. And this is why Genesis halting withdrawals is so bad. They sit at the direct center of crypto capital markets. They custody funds. They help institutions earn yields. They are the yield provider for the CeFi platforms. It's not good. So where do we go from here? Hopefully, DCG has the funds to backstop this. I would assume they don't, and that they're racing to raise money right now. They raised $10 billion in November 21. I'd guess they'd raise a valuation roughly 10 to 20% of that. So stay safe out there. If you have funds on a CeFi platform, think about going to cold storage using Ledger. If you don't want to use cold storage, use Coinbase, long live DeFi. I mean, so there you go. And he's plugging his newsletter, which sounds like it'd probably be worth signing up to if you're interested in it. But let's have a look at what the article has to say here, because this is just going to continue the contagion in the crypto world. So is this why we're seeing all of these deposit your crypto and earn exchanges get done? There's going to be calls for more intervention and more regulation. That's what's going to come out of this. So crypto isn't going to be what it was for much longer. So Genesis Global halts withdrawals, citing unprecedented market turmoil. The troubled firm is also acting as the liquidity provider of Grayscale Bitcoin Investment Trust. Oh boy. So the people who were investing into Grayscale, remember the advertising they all did. This isn't a good thing, is it? This is not a good thing, because you're buying Bitcoin at a premium going into Grayscale. Boy, oh boy, yep. So, according to a new tweet by Genesis Global on November 16, the institutional crypto lender said it would temporarily suspend redemptions and new loan originations in the lending business. In explaining the decision, the firm cited unprecedented market turmoil related to the collapse of troubled cryptocurrency exchange FTX, resulting in abnormal levels of withdrawals that Genesis Global claimed to have exceeded its current liquidity. So it's having a liquidity crisis. So is this the end of them? I mean, here's the thing. It's not your coin. If you don't have it in cold storage, in your own wallet, it's not yours. It's counterparty risk. What's happening here is bank runs, essentially, on all of these platforms because people don't trust them, because the chances you can lose everything now. The firm also added that its current liquidity was negatively impacted by the collapse of hedge fund 3 Arrows Capital in June. As part of bankruptcy proceedings, the brokerage has filed a $1.2 billion claim against 3AC. Though it's unclear what the firm's liquidity levels are. Cointelegraph previously reported that Genesis Global had $175 million worth of funds stuck on FTX. In response, Digital Currency Group, the parent company of Genesis Global, sent its subsidiary an emergency $140 million equity infusion to cover losses. It's now apparent that the transfer was insufficient to meet consumer withdrawal demands. As for the next step, Genesis Global stated, "We have hired the best advisors in the industry to explore all possible options. Next week, we will deliver a plan for the lending business. We're working tirelessly to identify the best solutions for the lending business, including, among other things, sourcing new liquidity." This is not what you want to hear, particularly if it's the whales. You got millions of dollars with Genesis because they're meant to be the safe place to actually earn something on your crypto. And, well, now they've got a liquidity issue. This is the Wild West, guys. Genesis Global also claimed that its spot derivatives trading and custody business remained fully operational. In its latest quarterly report, the firm stated that it had $2.8 billion worth of active loans. How many of them are bad loans? How many of them would be bad loans? It's going to be much worse than the banks setting aside for bad loans. It'd be nuts. It could be all of them. In this crypto world, it could be $2.8 billion just gone. Since the announcement, its parent company, Digital Currency Group, has clarified that it has no impact on its own operations. However, Genesis Global currently serves as the liquidity provider of the popular $6.7 billion Grayscale Bitcoin Investment Trust. The fund is currently trading at a discount of nearly 40% to its net asset value at the time of publication, in part due to investor speculation on its exposure to Genesis Global. 40% down. Oh, boy. Oh, well, hang on, let's see if I can find that. What is the code? The GBTC. Whoa, what? $9.20. Is it? Yep. There you go. So it was at, $56 back in 2021. 2020, it was all hovering around there. But there you go. It's tanked. This is max data. There you go. Look at that. It's tanked. Kathy Wood buys the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust dip. I mean, I don't know why. Why? Can explain. I guess the only reason why you would buy this is if you can't buy Bitcoin directly. Maybe there's rules and regulations surrounding particular organizations. But there you go. Kathy Wood's getting into it, guys. What do you reckon? Is that a buy signal for Grayscale or not? So here's an update. Cryptocurrency exchange Gemini confirms Genesis Global is the lending provider for its Earn program and will not be able to meet customer redemptions within 5 business days. Gemini also states that the event does not affect the firm's other products and services and that all customer funds held on the Gemini exchange are held one-to-one and available for withdrawal at any time. So Gemini, although I suspect they've just halted withdrawals. I've got another article. We have to look at this. GBTC released a statement saying that all Grayscale products remain safe and secure, held in segregated wallets in deep cold storage by our custodian Coinbase. The company also claimed its digital asset products are unaffected and the firm does not borrow nor lend with custodied assets. An update at 6 p.m., Coinbase tweeted that the exchange has zero exposure to Genesis Global. Cointelegraph previously reported on the 20th of September 21 that Coinbase decided to abandon its crypto lending program after the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission threatened legal action. So is Coinbase going to be the only crypto exchange or the safe haven? Well, the big safe haven. I know Independent Reserve, the Australian exchange here, who I've used and is I've got an affiliate link with. They don't lend. So there you go. But I mean, let's have a talk about this. It comes down to this. If you've got money on an exchange, you're at risk. Now, the risk could be that you could lose all of it. It could be locked up. You could never see it again. Or it could just be a temporary pause. Are you going to trust it at all? Now, this earning money from crypto, it looks like it's all smoke and mirrors. And it's all coming to a head. But guys, we'll have to see how this one plays out. The only advice I'd give you is to get control of your own cryptocurrency. And I mean, this coming from someone who doesn't hold anything in crypto. Whenever I get it, I just sell it and convert it into boomer shares. Nice and boring. But that's just probably more to do with my risk profile. You know, you have to take that into account. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Check out my other channels, HeiseBim and HeiseSays International, for other news that we discuss. And if you're a fan and want to support us, you can financially on YouTube or Patreon, using our referral links, buying our pocket squares, or calling us if you need an architect. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. And I'll see you in the next episode of HeiseSays. Bye for now.